Hello and welcome to the Juggling Podcast, episode, let's say, 58. My name's Luke Burridge, and joining me today, like normal, is Juliana.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about a video that I put out a few days ago, or last week, or whenever it was. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is the April podcast, but it turns out April, very, very busy. As soon as it gets to the 1st of May, we're on holiday for 2-ish weeks.
Yeah.
Including now, these next few days, some traveling to the NJF, the Netherlands Juggling Festival, and then the Netherlands Juggling Festival, and then we drive home and we're back to work again.
Yep.
Or Juliana's back to work,
and you too.
And then I go off on a work trip and things. So things going well, but it did mean that I wanted to do this podcast by the end of the month because our Patreon support us like on a monthly basis, and they say, "Oh yeah, monthly podcast." So here we go. So let's say thank you to all our Patreon supporters, shall we?
Go for it.
Actually, I'm not going to say thank you to all our Patreon supporters. I'm going to say thank you to our top Patreon supporters, including Marshall and Sid and Matt and Chris and Danny. Thank you very much. They're all some top level ones. Oh yeah, Qualified Juggles is Flo and Hendrik and Joel. And then we get down to some other levels as well. Kathy, Callie, Bethany, Meryl, the mysterious Mark, Yuli. There's someone called Juliana Kunzendorf.
That's me.
Thank you very much for supporting me on Patreon.
Yeah.
Keith, Mark, Michael, Mike, another Mike, Neon Juggler. Oh, yes. And then we get down to, Statist, Rafa, and then lots of other people who are supporting us at the $1 or £1 or €1 or $1 New Zealand dollar or like 3 Polish zlotys or whatever it is.
Wow,
like that
thank
other
you
level.
guys.
So thank you very
this
much
is
to
great.
all of our Patreon supporters who are getting in about $200 a month at the moment, which is very nice.
Very good.
Very inspirational. Not very inspirational. Provides a lot of motivation.
Yes, it does.
So, news since the last podcast. Let me bring up some notes here because I did actually make some notes. Did I? Or did I make some notes? Oh, yes. The last episode of the podcast was called Luke Needs Help.
Yes.
And it was about like refining my show and changing my show and then sort of talking about not struggles with numbers juggling, but like motivation and getting, fixed on things.
Yeah.
And it was a great help. Thank you very much, Juliana.
Good. My pleasure.
Yes.
I'm glad it helped. So reducing bulk and things in your case.
Yeah, and also just making my show better in a way where I was sort of like, think like I'm always very proud of like how much I think through what I do on stage and think through my shows and think through my acts to make it that like nothing's just happening by accident, because that's or nothing happens without thinking about it, without cause and effect.
Yeah. And, that shows. I think it definitely shows.
Yeah.
So how did things work with the
it went really well.
Fewer bits and pieces in the second show?
Yeah, well, again, it was just like compacting it down and not performing Francis Brunn's finale trick.
Yeah.
Chris Kramer's finale trick.
Yeah.
Sergei Ignatow's finale trick and Anthony Gatto's finale trick, reducing it down to just one big trick. And putting in the musical section as well. So I've got some ideas of how to work that better as well in the future.
From there on, that's nice.
Slowly improve it over time and not have to take 3 cigar boxes and all of this other stuff that we had. So much
stuff, yeah.
I mean the album art of the last episode was like the stuff that I need for my first show, and then the stuff that I need for the second show, and that wasn't even everything that I need for my second show at the time. So yes, I want to reduce it down a bit, and and I bought new ping pong equipment for that show.
Did they work well?
Went really well, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like I did my second show. I only did one of my second show.
Yeah.
And I think I made one mistake in the tennis balls, one mistake in the ping pong, one mistake in the club juggling section.
Right.
Oh, it's really annoying when you get to all the way to the end of the 4 clubs and you're like, this beat train club routine is going really well.
Then,
no drops so far. Just mess up at the end of the 4 clubs. I'm like, okay. And then finish
Never think too closely about
never
it
think,
while doing
I've not dropped yet in this entire show. Because then that's what happens, And then... yes, and I'm going to do a separate video about the new version of the Anthony Gatto balance routine, because I want to talk, because people have requested an update on that and how the balance pole works and design. So we're going to do a video specifically about that.
Yes,
I was actually thinking of maybe just record it at the NJF, because I'll have the stuff there. Maybe if I take the stuff along,
absolutely,
we can just record it there, because then I've got some time. If we're in a sports hall, we can just do the video.
You can actually use it and do it.
Yeah, I can demonstrate what's going on.
Yeah.
So that does mean I have to take the ball, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
We're not taking that much stuff. I mean, the camping stuff. And so that's good. And then, another video that would come soon. I was thinking of doing the big tricks because the last few years I've done it at the beginning of the year. I've done the big tricks video where I've taken the biggest tricks.
Of the last year.
Of the last, 12 to 14 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And I want to do big tricks 4. However, all of the top jugglers, well, not all the top jugglers, like some of the top jugglers who I'd love to feature there, they're just doing variations of last year's tricks.
Oh, they're expanding on the things that.
But not even really expanding in a way which is any more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, this guy last year did some numbers juggling, and now he's doing more numbers. This guy did some, like mixed prop juggling.
Pirouettes.
Yeah, mixed prop juggling, and now he's done some more mixed prop juggling.
Yeah.
And then the big tricks that I want to do, like what I want to highlight, Spencer Androla's DB97531 with clubs.
Yeah.
Like, that's good, but then a lot of what him and some of these other top jugglers have done is like just other 7 club side swap pirouette variations. And I'm like, well, that's only one. So normally I'm trying to get it down to a list of 10 tricks.
Yeah.
Now I've got like 5 tricks, which I think are really worth it. Or 6 of them, but 5 of them are various club juggling, side swap pirouette variations.
Yeah, that's the stuff that people obviously
I mean, it's
enthusiastic about at the moment.
And again, a 7 club battle, year-long battle, friendly rivalry, which we talked about in a podcast last year, gets you to joint number 1 and 2. Oh, not joint number 1, but the guys in the friendly rivalries who are doing like 7 club tricks are number 1 and number 2 in the top 40 jugglers of the year.
Yeah.
And previously, this is kind of, because I'm trying to say, the top 40 jugglers of the year isn't just about who's the best technical juggler.
Yeah.
But then, Delaney Bayliss and Spencer Androli have featured at the top of this, these lists here, of both the top 40 jugglers of the year and the big tricks. So anyway, that's bringing me to today's video, or the topic of today's video, which is the recent video that I put out called 20 Years of Club Juggling Videos.
Yes. A video you've worked on for a long time.
Well, for a few months.
Yeah.
For a few months.
Yeah.
But I've always had this idea in my head, and I made a note here of why this video got made ahead instead of other videos. And I noticed this, and I think I've talked about this before, because I consider these podcasts where we're talking about a video, this is like the director's commentary on the video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So
what's going on in your brain?
What's going on in my brain of why did I make this video?
Yeah.
And sometimes I do this before I put out the video, and sometimes I do it after I put out the video.
Yeah.
Like when I did a video about robots, we did a whole podcast about robot juggling, and then I put out a video about, So do I use the podcast to clarify my thoughts about a subject and then make a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video on it?
Yeah.
Or do I make the video, do all the thinking of it in the editing and script writing, and then talk about it afterwards on the podcast? And that's what this is. So,
yes.
Here's the thing: when I'm wanting, like, I'm going to do like a video essay or a historical study or something like that, I consider these video projects to be, similar. Like either it's an opinion or it's an opinionated view on something in juggling history.
Right.
Often it's difficult to find enough footage to put in the video.
Yes.
So when I'm like, all right, the definition of juggling, and I'm like, okay, I want an example of someone doing this thing with a stick, but not throwing and catching a stick, but like moving,
and it's very specific.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
And I totally appreciate how these guys, and I say guys, sort of people who I see making YouTube videos that I really enjoy, just how difficult it is to not just have someone talking to the camera the entire time. And I use these video essays as a format of not just Luke talking to the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the challenge is I do those kind of videos. They are the vlogs or the, live streams or the, the update videos where it's sort of like Juliana holds the camera, Luke talks to the camera, backwards, questions back and forth, and then I edit that down. Whereas this is like, no, I want to find footage with a voice, like footage and a voiceover.
Yeah.
And then we were watching, what was it, that Veritasium video where like there's great animations of black holes and maths and stuff.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it
has it all.
But then a lot of it is just, what's his name? Derek.
Yeah.
Just, he's very engaging. He's good at speaking to the camera. He's, I'd say, pretty good looking. You know, you can just get away with that. But if that was
guy.
Charisma,
yes,
but also like it helps that they're good to look at and they can emote. I'm not good at that. Like I'm not a presenter. That's not my thing. So the reason that this video got made is that it's a video essay about videos. So at all times, it's really easy to have something to show on screen.
Yeah.
Because what I'm talking about is a video which I can show on screen, which is completely different from a lot of the things that I want to talk about.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. If it's an abstract topic, you will have to create the visual storytelling.
Yeah.
And here, the visual storytelling is, here are the videos that I'm going to talk about. So it does it make it easier?
It made it easier to edit, you know, because then I just had to decide what I wanted to talk about. And then I could just find the moment, you know, like in one of the videos I say, there's some great characters. And I picked out a fun character moment of someone like moonwalking doing 4 clubs instead of in front of someone who then instantly becomes naked in a stupid crash cut, you know, smash cut or whatever they call it, you know. And it's a funny moment where I said full of interesting characters because I can just put the characters on screen, like from the video. So that was actually quite, I wouldn't say easy, you know, it was work, but it was knowable work. Like, all right, I'm going to say something about each one of these videos.
Yeah.
And if I say something that is in the video or about the video, it's probably easy enough to find an example of that from the video.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the question is now in the room, why did it take months for you to make this video?
Well, it didn't take me months to make the video.
Well, you said it took...
No, it was on my to video to make list.
Right.
But if you look at my videos to make list, this one was added to the list and ticked off of the list really, really quickly compared to a lot of videos that I want to make, that I plan on making. Okay,
that's cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Including things like, you know, I want to talk about the design of my balance pole, but I had a new thing, which is that hook and putting it, you know, instead of having the rings over my shoulder. So I was like, I want to perform that before I talk about it to see if it worked or not.
And now have footage of it.
Yeah, to have footage of it, of me doing it on stage, and did it work or not? And yes, it did work, but it worked the first time, but then the second time it loosened off, and the second time the ring fell off, and then I had to call someone from stage, from the, like, you know, the stagehand. The stagehand came over and picked the ring up, I put it and hung it back, you know, and I wouldn't know that until I try it out. But then I've been thinking about this. Someone asked for this. I wanted to do this update for so long, but each time I'm like, I changed something about the routine. Now I've got to wait now until I've tried this out on stage before I do the video. Now I changed. And that's the same thing with all these things, like the big tricks. I was watching that video today because I wanted to. I remembered, like, there's a video of somebody doing 14 rings.
Yes.
And it's a 14 ring flash.
Yeah.
But they're doing it so each throw is a multiplex.
Yes.
And they spread out in the air because some of the rings are large rings and some of the rings are small rings. And I knew, like, Wes Peden had the version of that, but I was like, but there is a version where he uses like 4 rings separate. Like he throws 4 rings at a time with 4 different size rings, and they all separate out.
Yeah.
You know, it is from that video.
Very pretty, yeah.
It's from another one of his videos as well.
Yeah.
Gumball, I think. So that's the thing, like, just to do these videos sometimes is like, I just got to spend a long time finding a lot of videos to fill up. So.
And this reminds me a little bit of the when to buy a new technical item, when to buy a new phone, when to buy a new laptop. At some point, you just have to do it. Because otherwise, there will always be something new.
Yeah, like I bought an M2 laptop and I'm like,
whatever.
oh, great, these M2 laptops are going to be, like, if I buy it now, 3 months after it comes out, the new one's going to come out in maybe 18 months or like a year, you know, like if they go, and then new one came out like 3 months later. I was like, oh, so this laptop was only the best laptop I could buy for
3 months.
Well, it was like 7 or 8 months, but I bought it 3 months into the 7 or 8 months. So I should have just waited. Of course, I shouldn't have waited because this laptop is amazing and makes it very easy. Oh, I said very easy, a lot easier to do these editing projects. I don't need to worry about what do I do in like, do I do it in 4K or 1080p or what the kind of thing. It's like, nope, just all the best quality I can do.
Yeah, it's good.
So that's the thing. This video got made. It got bumped up the list a lot, even though you said it took me a long time to make. It didn't take me a long time to make, and it didn't even take me a long time to get to it. I think getting to a video, like, I've got lots of video ideas.
Yeah.
But getting to them. isn't. So 2 reasons why I decided to make this is that I was re-editing the top 40 jugglers. I actually say this in the video, don't I?
Yeah.
Top 40 jugglers 2009.
Yeah.
There was 2009? No, 2000. One of these years.
Yeah.
And the original vote counting, I messed up with the Python script.
Some names.
That I made, and it was double. It didn't double count, but it grouped 2 different jugglers together.
Yeah.
And only when I went back after the fact, manually looked through each one of the examples, did I work out, in this context, this person is probably voting for this Lorenzo, and this other person is probably voting for Sid Lorenzo, even though sometimes... But again, it was difficult to track it down. But best, instead of using a computer to sort it out, best guesses or best estimations of the voting thing. So I worked out, like, this had always been messed up. And I was like, I'm just going to go back and recreate this video with better quality, and re-edit it together. And I did, and I was very happy with it. But the video of Sid Lorenzo Crivellari, the video that I found of him in whatever year it was that he did it, I was like, oh, this is like a really good video. And of course it is, because it's a really, really good video.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I also re-edited my 2000 video from 2004 that I made, which is Manic 3 Clubs.
Yes.
And the version that I released online is literally called Rough Cut. So it's a rough cut of a video that I made in 2004, and I released as Rough Cut.
And that's how it stayed.
And I was like... Why is it still the rough cut? I see all of the issues. Also, it was in 240p. It had never been better quality than that.
Yeah.
And so this video, which was like one of the most popular videos, I say one of the most popular, one of the only videos of its kind at the time, pretty much the only video of its kind, I was like, right, well, let's highlight some of these videos. And I realized, it's 2024 now, and I made that video in 2004.
Yeah.
So I have immediately the title of the video, 20 years of club juggling videos.
Yes. Yeah.
And that gives me such clarity.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, this is a video form, which is well, I don't know what to say. Like, it's sort of like it's a thing.
It's basically then a historic testimony, or like a compilation of
of moments of club juggling.
Yeah, and 20 years ago, nobody goes back. I don't know how many people would do, but nobody goes back and sits down and watches all these old videos anymore.
Well, they do. I do, and that's the thing. Is that this is the kind of thing that I do.
Yeah.
And so what happened was that I started looking back through these things, and I was like, well, can I find anything earlier than 2004? Because then it could be 25 years of club juggling videos.
Yeah.
But I realized straight away that there is a cutoff point where before that, the unit of a unit of juggling was either much longer or much shorter.
Right.
And now there's a time when the default unit of juggling is much shorter because of, social media and Instagram and things. So what I realized was before 2004, before I made this video, I couldn't find any example of a video like it or like the videos that came over the next 20 years from 2004.
Yeah.
Because before then, most club juggling that was included in a DVD or a VHS, DVDs and VHSs cost £25 for a DVD, £20, £30, $30 for a DVD or VHS.
Yeah.
And that's why we all kind of copied VHSs and just sent each other tapes and things. Because it's sort of like, well, it costs, like you want to pay for the video. Of course you want to pay for the video. But because someone is going to pay for the video, like the DVD that you sell or the VHS that you sell, has to be 45 minutes at least.
Yeah, you have to make use of the thing. You can't just put a 10-minute video on the 45-minute tape that you got.
And people would complain about that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Anthony Gatto's second VHS or third VHS, to be the best 2 or 3 or whatever it was kind of short compared to the first one. You're like, well, there's not enough on here.
Right.
And looking back now, it's like, it's like 2 practice sessions and you just videoed him doing stuff and then put a bit of show footage here and a bit of him there. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's not very good, because what you're trying to do, I'm not saying pad out, but you have the luxury of having enough time to put in every trick variation.
Yeah.
So you go back and you watch 3 clubs different ways with, Maxim and Ville Valo and Jay Gilligan, Maxim Camaro. And if you watch that now, I wouldn't say they're boring, but the whole point is that this is an exploration of as many different variations of 3 clubs with a thing, as I say, with a thing, with a twist as possible. So you haven't seen any of those tricks before, but you see them and you're like, oh, good. Okay, that's good. Oh, next one's good. Oh, that's good. And a lot of stuff that I went back and found, of DVDs and VHSs that I was either remembering back to or watching segments from.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just lost because those things are now like part of a DVD project.
Yeah. Okay.
And people don't really just want to rip a DVD and put it online. Some people have.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff isn't that easy to find.
Yeah.
And it's low quality because DVD is low quality and VHS is even lower quality.
Yeah. I mean, who still has a VHS player?
But more to the point is that a lot of it is sort of like some royalty-free music or some library music.
Yeah.
Because you had to because it was being published. Plus quite a lot of locked off cameras and long sections of juggling. And more importantly, those units of juggling, that bit of club juggling, wasn't self-contained in its own right like a short film is.
Right.
Now, what I filmed in 2004 was originally going to be part of a longer DVD, and that's why it was a rough cut. And I was always like, here's a version now, and I'm going to, once I actually get this together and I'm going to put it together into the whole DVD, I'll do the final version with the correct intro, with the correct outro. And when I went back and looked at these rough cuts, I have like 4 or 5 different chapters, and all of them don't really have the intro fixed and don't really have an ending.
Yeah, it's a rough cut.
Well, all of them were like, and when I finish this, I'm going to level up the sound. I'm going to do the actual edits. I'm going to fix this, fix that, take out that bit of sound, put in this clip. And like I had all these things in mind. Yeah. But I realized that the focus that I had on each one of these, because I didn't want any of the chapters to be purely about, some of them I wanted to be purely about the juggling. Like the 3-ball one is called 3-ball basics. Yeah. And it's like basic variations of these 3-ball patterns, or like variations of 3-ball patterns. So there's only ever cascade throws and then this multiplex variation and this thing, and then these 2 multiplex variations come out. So there's some of them which I wanted to be quite down the line and just be like, here is a demonstration of some club side swaps.
Right.
But other sections I wanted to be based on different like characters or like different vibes of juggling.
Right.
So I really like just doing random shit, like I say, jamming with clubs, which is like, you've got clubs, you don't know what you're going to do with them until you do something with your hands and something happens with the clubs.
And then you have to react.
And then you've got to react to it. Yeah. And so it's lots of bounces and hits and just weird shits and just throwing them up and like, can I do a pirouette here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do a pirouette here. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And which is fun, and it gets you to that vibe that comes out where you see sort of like that kind of more, and I wanted it to be like a skate video, like a because I was watching a lot of because in 2003 2004 when I was living with my parents back again after being away at university and working, I moved back in with my parents again. They had TV and I would watch a lot of this extreme channel, so it's all extreme sports. So all I watched was like BMXing, skating, extreme sports.
And there's a certain style of video editing going on.
Well, not so much editing, but also shooting. It was with skates, there's always motion to the camera. Yeah. There's always motion on screen. Yeah. There is no locked off camera. Yeah. So for this chapter, I wanted there to be, for the Manic 3 clubs, I wanted it to be free juggling, mostly unplanned or bits of plans, but also, can I even do this trick kind of plans? And also, if I don't get the trick in a few attempts, move on to something else, maybe come back to it. If not, it just doesn't go in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, always moving camera and then the vibe of jamming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also then the person videoing moving along with it.
Yes. And there's
right?
lots of camera movement. In fact, there isn't any non-camera movement.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, the shots that I'm going for is like, when you see a skate video, where someone is like, right, I'm going to go along there, and I'm going to go onto that ledge, and then I'm going to go down those stairs, and then I'm going to go here. The camera move is planned out.
Yeah.
And as the person is practicing the trick or trying to get the trick, the camera move gets better and better. And so we were trying to go for that. But also, don't get it too good, because you still want some of that shaky cam. You know?
Yeah. You want a bit of the... We are not too slick here.
Yes, not too slick. So a bit punk, a bit, and that's what I went for. And I realized that it stood alone as a short film about juggling in a way that it's not just locked off cameras. It was all filmed over 2 days. I smashed the clubs at the end. I broke the clubs at the end of the first day, took them home, repaired them, came back the second day and did the second lot of filming. Nathan, my brother, did half 1 day's filming, and then Ewan came and did some other half of it. So half of it's Nathan, half of it's Ewan, and we did some of the filming for other projects as well in those 2 days. But it was a single location, single idea, so that's what I'm saying. The clarity of having a single idea behind a video and putting it out, and it's short again, like 4 to 5 minutes in that case, but so it can be like, so a lot of these videos become between 2 minutes, and the longest example I think was like 12 minutes. Like Elias and Wes Peden, both of them have videos with like 3 sections in, which gets to like 12, 13, 14 minutes. But that's about the maximum, because longer than that, it's not a unified statement about juggling anymore.
So, and then it becomes more of an exploration of things or whatever.
Well, the quality drops. Because anyone can make 1.5... Well, put it this way, you can see now with Instagram, anyone can do 20 minutes of really, really good juggling. To make 2 minutes of really good juggling or dynamic or interesting juggling is possible. Once you get past that, it has to be based on what is the character of this juggler? What is the personality of this juggler? What is interesting about them? What is interesting about their juggling beyond them? What is the trick? There needs to be an intention about it, about the video itself, not just what you're doing in it. Yes. Now, there are some people who can put together a longer video, which is purely about the juggling, and they're good enough at juggling, or they've got interesting enough. So Andreas, who... From Greece. Andreas Cabela or something, I can't remember his name. Anyway, so it was really difficult for me not to include any video of his. But then I'm like, no, the videos that he does is interesting juggling. I really like the production. I really like that there's no music. It's just him, the sound of his juggling, but it's locked off cameras. But in the end, it is just a demonstration of the juggling. And I realized that there is a different style. There is a different intention of someone who's making a short film about a juggler and their juggling and their environment and their personality than here is some difficult club juggling. And again, there's nothing bad about Andreas's video. And also someone I should have just brought up the video here. Let me bring it up here. Go to my videos. And somebody mentioned in the comments to this video... Is it comments? Can I look at it here? Yes. And someone says, it's Louis Casson. He says, Back from the Nap is one of the greatest YouTube era videos. And that's true. And I rewatched that video, and you know what? It is one of the great YouTube videos. It is one of the great club juggling videos. That's by? Tony Pezzo. Oh, right. Okay. And it's really good. And a lot of the juggling is technical enough that it still holds up to this day. But it really is just lots of locked off cameras and him doing some tricks. That could have made it into this 20 years of club juggling video, but I had to kind of decide what this 20 years of club juggling playlist and the video, intention behind the videos, what it was about. And so like the starting point was the time when it was possible to share videos online, which were longer than 10 seconds and were good enough quality that you could see what was going on to be able to get the personality of the juggler rather than sort of like 140p pixelation blur. And that's why that second video is with with Vova Galchenko. Mm-hmm. Again, there's one version which is like 360p. That's the one that's got 1 million views.
Yeah.
But then there's another one which is slightly higher quality because, Mark Bacalor uploaded his version and that got millions of views. And then Vova Galchenko was like, well, I've got a slightly better quality version. So he put one up which is like 420, no, was it 360? Yeah, 420p, so like slightly better quality.
Right.
And with his like name at the front and a promo like, hey, contact me and I'm available for shows at the end. You know, that one didn't get 1 million views, but it's slightly better quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So back then you're really battling video quality as a barrier to releasing good quality long videos.
Yeah, and technical restriction. Like,
and again,
as you
by
said,
long, I mean 4 minutes.
Yeah, and as you said in the video itself, you said like bandwidth was like a, you had to be able to upload this much stuff and then also download for the people to download and look at stuff like that.
Here's some little behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
This is Elias Hedlund in 2007, August 2007. I made a short film this summer together with the genius Olaf Rockner, that I planned to release on the internet. Then I started to think about filming some more and make a DVD and save the film for a while. But since that DVD project seems far away, I decided to go through with the original plan and release it on the net. So me and him were doing, like, we had the same kind of thing. So I'm like, is this a DVD? Is it just the thing? And actually after releasing the video, and I'm like, oh no, this DVD, I'm never going to do this DVD because the videos that I made here, or the video that I released, it stands alone and would be diminished by being hidden by being on a DVD.
Yes.
He says, so if you like my stuff, he says, it's 12 minutes and 22 seconds long. It's 324 megabytes. You can download it here. The film is all black and white in case you think there might be something wrong with the file. So this is at a time when people were, a lot of the conversations about sharing videos was like, how do we share a video? Like, how do I share? Like, how do I do it? And it's sort of like, I have a question about compression. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro and things like that. I'm just not satisfied. There might be a way to get the file size down. And then somebody else looked at the file and said, yeah, half of that is that you haven't compressed the audio. So if you compress the audio, the file size just drops down to 200 megabytes, down from like 324.
Yeah.
And here it goes. Here it is. And here's a new compression codec. It's called H.264. This was at the time when the H.264 was so new that people were like, guys, we found it. Here's the video compression that you're going to use. And now all videos are H.264/H.265 or whatever it is, And people are like sharing Wikipedia pages about the new video compression. So that's what we're up against to share these videos. Yeah. Like MySpace, you can share a video on MySpace. It can be, it can be good quality, but it probably isn't good quality. Like the Fatboy Slim music video competition. Yeah. Pre-YouTube. And this is 2007. So even at the time, you might have been able to upload something to YouTube. Yeah. Maybe in 2007, 2006, 2007 was like that crossover point. But if it's 12 minutes long, no. YouTube had a maximum video time length of 10 minutes.
Yes.
And that's why I want to kind of do a re-edit of 2008, Top 40 Jugglers 2008, because that was based around the fact that I wanted to talk about it like I did previously. The previous years, I'd done a podcast about it. And I was like, well, I'll do a podcast, but show the videos. And then I'm like, I can't do that because there's a video length. So I had to break it up into 2 10-minute videos.
Yeah.
And now I could put them into one video. Like, they don't have to be 2 videos, or easy, I can edit it down a bit more. And I still have like all the videos there, like on my hard drive.
Of course, you got all the files.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So and then the first reply, or one of the replies that I copied out here as well. I don't think I've ever been so loud while watching a video. I kept screaming at my screen because I couldn't believe what you were doing. So much of it doesn't look possible, like the 2 club forward and reverse spin for the same hand and other things where you bounce it back and forth. Like, so
is that to the Vova Galchenko video?
No, that's to the Elias Hedlund video. Okay. Yeah. So what was happening there? Like, and then years later, both me and Elias Hedlund uploaded these videos to YouTube, and people are like, wow, I remember watching this video, it's so good. Like, so I probably told you this before, but this video is responsible for me falling in love with clubs. Hope to get a chance to juggle with you someday. And others have said happy to see it on YouTube. And that was 10 years ago. So that was 8 years ago. So people 8 years after we're sharing these videos are finding the video comments, like Amaran Roswell, best juggling video ever. He wrote that about a video it 10 years ago about a video that at the time was 8 years old.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to bring out here.
Yeah.
So,
and then in your video, in the one that you just did now, the 20 years of club juggling, you did include links to the respective videos as well.
Well, I made a playlist with all the videos in order, and I included a link to the playlist.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. So basically, you're not only making a compilation and like an opinion piece or something about these videos, you're also giving people the ability to go and watch these videos in their full, how they were meant to be watched.
Well, some of them how they're meant to be watched. Some of them were originally released on YouTube. Some of them weren't and have since been uploaded to YouTube. Yes. But it's only like 3 or 4 of these really early videos that were once just videos and now they've been uploaded to YouTube. Like low quality versions have been uploaded to YouTube.
And I want to ask one more thing about this time when YouTube didn't exist.
Yeah.
And you mentioned MySpace. Lots of people won't even know what that is.
Yeah.
But where else would this be shared? Like,
well, people would upload it to a server and they would say, please mirror this. In other words, please, you also make a copy and upload it to your own place.
Oh, okay.
Into your own thing. And then you would go over and look at the IJDB, which was the Internet Juggling Database.
Yeah.
And the IJDB had a video database.
Okay.
And when you looked at the video database here, do I have a link to it? Of course, it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Manic 3 Club. So I click on this link here. It's a web, like an archive.org link to the video.
Okay.
Will it come up here as well?
Yeah, it's doing something.
These are the formats here. So this is the first year.
It's like a forum.
No, there was a forum. Well, there was a portal to rec.juggling. I'm not going to get into it. Either way.
Oh my God, okay.
This is a version from December 2005.
Yeah, okay.
And then the next version is from 2007. So this is like the first year of the juggling database. So you see here, Manic 3 Club is at the top here.
Yeah.
Next one is Michael Menes, which is apart from a DVD. Well, not a DVD, a VHS at the time.
And how did it get to the top? Like, how did people vote on it?
It's people
or like
rating it. People rating it, and it's like sorted by hits. So this had in the first year, it had 822 hits.
Okay.
In other words, 822 people clicked on one of these links here.
Yeah.
But you see, there's different downloads. It's the same file, but you can either download it from members.aol.com or www.juggledthis. So people would upload it to their own sites, and then it would be listed under different places. So if it disappeared here, so this one, Toby Walker, EJC 2003 routine, which had 556 hits, it's uploaded in different versions to different places.
Right, okay.
So when you would say, please mirror this, and then Colin, who made the website, would put like a hashtag something, which would include some metadata. So it says, this video is a short, rough cut preview of a DVD that Luke has been planning to release. It features a whole host of improbable tricks and even more improbable catches. I didn't write that, but it was included in whatever, it was when he hashtagged it, these computer programmers, they think they've come up with a really clever way of doing things, and they have, but it just doesn't, none of them get past YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all of the ideas that people, I'll have this video website, and you're like, and then YouTube comes along and people are like, we'll be the YouTube for juggling videos. It's like, no, the YouTube for juggling videos is YouTube. Which again, I love juggling TV. Juggling.tv has got a fantastic archive. I still look up videos on there. It's stuff that you can't find easily on YouTube, and you can still download stuff from Juggling TV. You can't upload to juggling.tv anymore, but you can still download stuff from there.
That's
and
nice.
It's so great.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, it was really good. And again, going back into it. So here's the thing. I had immediately an idea of like 20 years of club juggling. Great, 20 videos. It was too difficult to get it down to 20 videos. In the end, it's about 30 videos.
Okay.
Like 31 videos.
Yeah.
But I was sure I could find that amount of videos. And I was looking through, and I was trying to think of all the videos, and I was searching for all the videos that impacted me and that I could remember. Some of them were very clearly going to be in there.
Yeah.
Some of them were like, let me see. Like, I remember a video from this juggler. That's a lot of it. It's like, I remember this juggler putting out a video. So then I'd look through all of their club juggling videos and then find the one I'm thinking of. Yes, that's it. That's going in.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'd be like, okay, that doesn't fit in. That doesn't work. And I realized quite quickly that, like I say, that I needed the focus of this needs to be a short film about juggling.
Yeah.
A short film about a club juggler doing club juggling, rather than here's a video of an act.
Yeah.
Didn't use it. Any technical progression videos, like here's just some difficult tricks that I filmed.
Yeah.
I included one of them from Moritz Rosner,
Yeah.
Mo, Juggling Mo.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good thing because it's a very high quality one of those videos.
Yeah, also it references back one of the other videos that you show.
Yeah, and you can kind of see, all right, this is what technical juggling is now.
Yes.
I would love to have included a video from Spencer and Droley, but the video of his difficult juggling was like a documentary from last year or video like Instagram clips.
It's either that or that.
So it's like so no vlogs, no just a video of someone's act, not really just a video. I mean, some of them were obviously, here is a video of 3J drugs, and that's an act, but it's filmed in a way which isn't just somebody performing on stage with a locked off camera.
Yeah.
Like my Beat Train video, or, Oni Toivonen's, who's I actually put in here, which is like, okay, this is an act. This is a video of an act, but it's more than that. There's editing to it, and there's cinematography to it, which elevates it just above, here is some juggling that I sometimes do on stage, even though that's what you put on the video description. So that was kind of what I realized. Okay, not just technical demonstrations, even though some of them are very good, but a lot of them don't really hold up years later. That you go, I remember this thing with the Belgian guys, Jordan de Cooper. And there's lots. I was like, he did loads of things, and there's loads of club balances. He caught lots of clubs and a balance. And I go back and watch that, and I'm like, that has now become standard enough that. And the video quality isn't very good. Mm-hmm. There's no storytelling to the video. There's no character to the video. It's all just a guy in a training space with a locked-off camera. Yeah. And his costume changes all the time. And then the lighting gets good and bad. And it's... Yeah.
And by now, this style of club juggling has been taken by other people who then made their own videos. And then that fit better.
It's not that it fit better, but but then there's other videos like Declan and his spun out video. I was like, is this going to be good enough? And then I watched back and I was like, oh no, this is capturing a moment in a great way. And I think what it needs to come down to is that there has to be enough care put into the video making stuff that I could credibly credit, if you know what I mean, the cinematographer and or editor. And sometimes it's the same person. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do remember the Declan video was basically just... Was that a locked-off?
It was a locked-off camera, but...
In a training space.
It was a locked-off camera in a training space, but... there was more of an idea to the video. Yeah. And you credit someone... Again, I'm just using these examples. Not to say that they're worse videos or better videos. I'm just saying the video that I was trying to put in couldn't just be somebody's juggling in a gym that one time. It has to be a statement about juggling. Yes. And a statement about... The club juggling. Yeah. Other videos that didn't make it were videos which I remember being good videos, but then I'm watching it and I'm like, there isn't actually a statement about club juggling here. What we're actually looking at is a pretty background or nice scenery or an interesting part of a city and somebody doing enough club juggling in front of it to make me appreciate the video, make me appreciate the video thing. So Ron Beery, I put in a video of him. He's just juggling in a studio. Yeah. Someone's credited for doing the camera work. Someone else is credited for the editing. But it's just a guy in a studio. Then there's another video which is much more beautiful. It's him out in like the deserts around the Dead Sea in Israel. Yeah. And it looks great. But in the credits, they mention in the credits that they're using a 5D Mark II Canon DSLR camera. Yeah. And it was at a time when this was the new video camera and you could do HD video with it. And it was like, you could get that like cinematic quality, like you put an ND filter on it and you can get that narrow depth of field. And I'm like, I don't want a video where somebody has done a tech demonstration, like a new camera tech demonstration. Yeah. I actually would prefer a video where somebody hasn't put the thought into the camera that they're using, but is putting the thought into the character and the statement about juggling and maybe the location, the interesting elusive location and the editing. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. It can't just be, hey, look, we've got a new camera and we can do like some really pretty juggling in front of some really dramatic landscapes.
Yeah,
and I'm not to say it wasn't a bad video. It wasn't a good video. If this was a video, if this playlist was going to have 50 videos in it rather than 30 videos in it, that might have made the cut.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like if you have, there was this time when movie making included lots of crane shots and stuff, and suddenly people had drones, and people had access to drones,
exactly.
and they could suddenly create this movie making appeal because suddenly they could swoop in with a drone and hover and do this kind of stuff. So because then it becomes less about the content of what you're seeing on the movie, on the film, more about hey, I can make this cool effect and you're gonna like it.
Now here's the thing, it's very important now to clarify that I don't mind if someone uses a DSLR camera.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or uses a crane, or uses the drone or anything. But the juggling still has to be the central part of, and the character. And again, quite a few videos I thought, I remember this being a good video. And I watch back and I'm like, hey, it is a good video.
Yeah.
It's a good promo. It's a good like location scouting place, and I say this as someone who juggles 5 balls everywhere I go. And I over the years have tried to do more interesting juggling, but in the end, I'm not doing it for the juggling. I'm doing it for having juggled in these places and having captured these dramatic moments and fun moments.
And there it is about the backdrop.
It is about the backdrop. Very specifically. Again, nothing wrong with a video where actually what we're doing is, like I was like, we could do these things with like a video of someone juggling here and juggling there and juggling here. And then you're like, there are some videos that people would mention and could fit in. But in the end, it's not quite enough about a statement about it. And that happened in all directions, everywhere that you go, this is not quite making the cut. Again, not because it's a bad video per se, but that it's not hitting, it doesn't fit in with the other 30 videos that I've got here. Like, well, what is it that isn't making it? And again, lots of videos I thought, this video is definitely going to go in. I watched it back and I'm like, I was excited at the time about that juggler or that moment or that one trick in that video. Or I remember being excited. And some of them I was just like, I was just excited to watch another video, like another juggling video, because I hadn't seen a good juggling video, and this was like, it made the cut for like, or it made the standard of like, that was a fun video. But watching it now 7 years later, zero excitement.
That can totally happen, especially in a compilation like this. And so how long was the end result of this video that you put out? How long is it?
Oh, that video? Let me just click view on YouTube. So it's 16 minutes. I wanted it to be like maybe 12 to 15 minutes. And then when I was doing it, I realized, I can tighten up the script. So the next step was looking through, getting all the videos that I want, putting them in a playlist, and then making another playlist of the videos that didn't make the cut. So there is actually a second playlist. So there's 20 years of club juggling videos, which is the main playlist, and then more club juggling videos. So if I click on this, there's another video with another 76, another playlist with another 76 videos in it.
Holy.
So what it came down to is downloading or watching and download. I didn't download all these videos, but pretty much, over 100 juggling videos that I watched. Not all of them all the way through, because some of them you start watching and go, oh no, this is, no matter what happens, this isn't making the cut. So then I'll kind of just skim through and go through it. So lots of that. And then talking to other jugglers, like mentioning different people, like chatting online and saying, what have you got? And people sending some things. I'm like, that's on this video. One of the best things though was having a conversation with Daniela Pelichkova. I met up with her and I was like, I want to include these videos of you. And I started talking about this. I was like, why is it in this video that Inside I'm Smiling, all club juggling, really good stuff. And then at some point you just do 8-ball juggling for some time. She was like, I had that footage and I just wanted to include it because I wanted to show it off. And it's sort of like, but why at that moment did you just include, because it wasn't made as it was made as a club juggling video. Anyway, it was just one of those things. Anyway, she was sort of like, I'll have a look through my YouTube video playlist. And we both had fun discussing these videos. And me looking through her playlist and her looking through my playlist. So big thank you to Daniela for helping me out. And again, not really, I mean, she did recommend a few videos that made it in here, which I didn't think of, but there wasn't anything that I found new that I then include, because I did want it to be an opinionated list. of my own.
Yes.
Like, sure, a lot of those videos, but it did help clarify what kind of video, because this was back in February or whenever when I was working on this. It did clarify what kind of videos were going to go into the playlist.
Direction
what the direction of the playlist was going to be. Yeah. Now, I'm talking this up as though it's a big thing. It's not a big thing. It's just a playlist and a video. Yeah. But I knew I was onto something with this idea of sharing 20 years of club juggling video, and then the response has been great.
Yeah, like, how is it? Like, how's the view and how are the comments and stuff?
I don't know. The views is like over 1,000 views.
Oh, that's great.
And like 22 impressive. Comments. But again, a lot of it has been other people like privately sending me messages on Instagram and other places saying, great, good job, thanks so much for it. And also quite a few of the people I'd messaged in advance and said, oh, can you tell me a bit about this video? Yeah. Can you give me the credits? Like, what did you do here and things? So a few of the jugglers knew what was coming up. But also the people I knew who would like this video have liked the video.
Good.
And
that's nice.
I know that's weird to say that, like, some people who I had in mind to think... Actually, let me just think about it here. So on Instagram, there's Louis Casson from South Africa.
Yeah.
His videos, I really like his club videos. Not really the kind of thing that I was looking for here. But he made this... it's going to be too difficult to find now, isn't it? Anyway, he made a meme because he's got some good Instagram story memes.
Yeah.
And one of them was, it doesn't turn up here on his story.
Yeah, the stories disappear.
The stories disappear from chat.
Yes. That's how it goes.
Oh no, I remember. So anyway, if you click on his thing here, so he has these memes
the highlights.
Playlist. Yeah. So let me have a look here. This is where I find it here as well. So if I go all the way, it was a more recent meme here. So either way, it was just a few weeks ago. So the meme was, I go to heaven and I get all of the juggling videos that I could ever watch. What is it? Welcome to heaven. Here's our heavenly juggling video collection. And then there's the thing, these are all trick of the month videos. Haha, psych. And it's somebody you're actually in hell. So I sent him a message, which was pretty much, I've made it, this was like 6 weeks ago, whenever. And I was like, I'm making a video just for you. Now, not to say that tricks of the month videos aren't great.
Yeah.
I like some tricks of the month videos, but here's the thing: when they came out, they were actually special because there was only one of them per month, and it felt like it was a prestigious thing to have a Tricks of the Month video. But over time, it's become not like anyone can be a Tricks of the Month, but also the video quality. They found a formula which is like bare minimum formula, which is all these other videos that I've done, these 20 years of videos, sort of like, I'll just do something like that. Okay, so the camera can't be locked off. It's like, you're misunderstanding the point. Oh, we need to be in an urban location outside. You're not quite getting the point, if you know what I mean. So there was a danger to be like, oh, everyone should make a video. It's like, no, it's actually really hard to make a good video with good cinematography, good like lighting and location scouting, interesting use of that.
Yeah.
Juggling that's interesting enough to hold my attention for 4 minutes, an interesting character who is going to add maybe another minute and a half worth of character work on top of that. And it could be a real character, or it could just be like, get to know the person, see what their personality is like. Yeah. Plus, good editing, good music, and a good concept or whatever, overall like that. There's like 7 different things that have to be good to make it onto this list.
And recreating these things artificially, like
you can't do it.
Exactly, you can't do it. And also, if you try to make it and repeatedly do it, it becomes just a production line.
Yeah.
And then that loses its appeal. Yeah.
It's like, I was really enjoying Marvel movies for a while, and then you're like, okay, let me just see what the next Marvel movie is going to come off the production line. It's like, do I even care anymore? No, not really. And then you just stop watching.
It's so tricky. Yeah, it's so tricky to keep going because you want to repeat something. You want to repeat the success. You want to repeat the reaction. And that's almost impossible.
And that's the thing. I now know within 5 or 6 seconds of the start of a Tricks of the Month video, not even if I'm going to enjoy it or not, but if I'm even going to watch more than the next 15 seconds.
Yes.
And that's really sad because the juggling is fine, but none of the juggling is elevated enough, like far enough above what I could see someone do on an open stage or in some Instagram clips.
Yeah. It has lost this special feel, maybe. Yeah, that's fun.
All right, let's bring up, why did I select all there? Well, I guess I was clicking around on a different website. So, yes, So all those middle years. So I talked about what the videos were like before, and now I'm talking about what's difficult now. Now it's difficult to make a video which stands out among Tricks of the Month videos.
Yeah.
People still do. With club juggling and everything as well, like that. But it is now, like those last videos, quite a few of them were just now the best club Tricks of the Month videos, where the juggling stands out even among those. And yeah, I would love to see more people do videos which aren't just Tricks of the Month videos. But now, weirdly enough, the format of having a longer video is now a Tricks of the Month style video.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's a different mindset.
Yeah.
And now you get to know people's juggling via their Instagram, and also you get to know them via their Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if somebody does put out a longer video with mostly just their juggling in it, like there's like this meta level of knowing about the juggler otherwise. And you get to know the juggler via their Instagram, but not their juggling in their Instagram. But like, hey, I'm here, I'm traveling, I'm hanging out, I'm doing this trick, I'm performing here, whatever.
Yeah.
And now here's some of my juggling. And you're like, great. But the metaverse, not the metaverse, what I'm trying to say, the Instagram verse and all the other stuff that's going on is doing a lot of the heavy lifting to like these characters as a person. I think that's what the issue is with some of these Tricks of the Month videos, is that I don't follow most of these people on Instagram. I don't know them as a person. I don't know who they are. And suddenly I'm seeing a single thumbnail and then the bottom of their chin as they're looking up into the sky and doing some juggling.
Yeah. At that point, then for a person who doesn't have a personal connection, might it be in real life or via Instagram, for that then the video would need to do the heavy lifting
of introducing
of introducing the person. So basically what it becomes is that it becomes like a fan service in a way. Well, you're already a fan of the thing.
And then now you see more of them.
Exactly.
That is one way of looking at it. And all the other way of looking at it is that why put all the effort into making a video? Like I put like months and months of work into this 16-minute video which was highlighting other videos, and it's got 1,000 views. Is that what I want? Or do I video myself trying 9 rings for the first time in ages, getting the trick, and that gets 40,000 views on Instagram? Or I do something else and it gets 250,000 views on Instagram? The depth isn't going to be there, like the whatever it is. But again, I'm not interested in those views, but I'm saying the return that you got from putting out a video in 2007 and like the first person to comment on it is Wes Peden and Amaran Rosval squealing about how it's their favorite video of all time, and then you later on see the influence of them. Like then they put your name in the video credits of their next video. Oh, Michael Karras put my name in the video, and then Sid Lorenzo put Michael Karras's name in the video, and Michael Karras's name was listed alongside Wes Peden in the video, and then Wes Peden thanks these people in the video, and then I look at something, I'm like, well, not Wes Peden, I'm just saying, but like, I wasn't mentioned there, but they're obviously doing that spin on a trick that they obviously saw me do that time. There's even I think even in that video of Wes Peden, the last one, I can't remember what it's called, but he said this section is dedicated to the feeling that you have when you see someone do a cool trick and you want to do something cool to show them the next time that you do the trick. And you look at that and go, oh great, like again, I don't need to now. He doesn't now need to list the jugglers he's doing, but he's sharing a section which is about sharing tricks, being like, you've done that. I'm going to do something interesting and share it back with you.
Yes.
And that used to be done in long sections of video with credits at the end to say vocabulary from here or shout out to this person or whatever. Inspiration by this. And now you just share a video trick and, tag them in the comment below. Like, oh, thanks to this person, they inspired me to do this trick. You know. So where we are now, like the cycle of reward, and nobody's making DVDs and VHSs. And the cycle of reward is like you only get a bit of reward from being featured on Tricks of the Month. That in itself is now the reward for putting in the time and effort to do a longer section of video. Or you've got to be someone like Wes Peden, whose art form is long form juggling. He's even said that. People said, "Oh, why don't it's May? Why don't you do Tricks of the Month?" He's like, I create juggling and I come up with many tricks, but then they have to be in a show or in a longer video. There
needs to be a context.
There needs to be some context.
Yeah.
Again, I'm paraphrasing something that he wrote about Tricks of the Day like 2 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But it does make me think, I was like, and I was chatting with Wes and some other jugglers as well about these videos and like, why aren't we making them? It's all like, we're all grown up. We've all got like real jobs and stuff.
They take a lot of energy and time and effort
and the best
ones
money. Recently have been produced with like a production company.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to contract this production company, or I'm going to work with this cinematographer and editor, and they're going to do the hard video work and I'm going to do the hard juggling work.
Yes.
And so, a lot of that. So what's my other notes here as well? What didn't make the cut? Incoherence, movement in front of pretty backdrops. Yeah, I said. Also, there's another thing that I was like, I'm definitely going to include as an early example, Vision Bot Manipulation Series #1, The Harbour, made by Oscar Rango and featuring Elias Headland, who did the All You Scientists Are Crackpots. I started watching it and I'm like, oh no, this isn't a juggling video. This is an art video, which happens to feature...
from the director who then made this one video and then...
Well, no, he made a series of videos. There's like 4 of the Vision Bot Manipulation. And then he kind of just didn't do juggling videos anymore. So I was like, I'm doing these art things and I'm not getting that back out. Like, I'm the one who's working on these like art projects that feature juggling and nobody else is. So if I'm going to continue making art projects, like, why am I trying to make that for jugglers when I'm not getting any of the same thing back?
Yes.
Like, other people aren't doing what I'm doing, so why, like, but other people were making, trick compilation videos, hey mum, look me, I'm a juggler now videos, or whatever the hey mum, look videos, which is, again, I'm using juggling lingo from online discussions from like 20 years ago.
Yes.
But and I understand it. And again, I watched back through the Vision Bot Manipulation 2, The Room, which is cigar boxes in a room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, still one of the best juggling videos, even though at the time it sparked a big debate because there wasn't any juggling in it. But I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's about the movie making. Yeah, but then it's about the movie making.
It's a really good short film about someone in a room with Eric Obery doing cigar box shapes in a room. And I'm like, that still holds up today. But it wasn't enough about the video. The video was much more about this is an art film, especially the first one, The Harbour, with Elias Headland. Elias? Elias?
Elias.
Elias? I don't know. How do you pronounce that in Swiss? No, not Swiss, in Swedish.
I have no idea, but the German pronunciation would be Elias.
Elias. Let's say Elias. Elias.
But yeah, I understand also because the community of jugglers want to see juggling, and
they just complained that there wasn't enough juggling in it.
Yeah, so
even though I'm like, this is obviously the best we have. This was in like 2005.
Yeah,
like this
really
is why
early on.
Yeah, this is why I want to use it, because it was so early, and I'm like, well, I've got one video from 2004, one from 2006, one from two from 2007. I was like, I need some early on there.
Yeah,
they can't all just be from 2011 to 2015, which is like the golden age of this.
Yeah, of course. But then yes, of course, you had the audience that he thought he was the intended audience for these videos weren't the jugglers. Yeah. So it was...
Well, no, he thought they would be the jugglers. Yeah, but jugglers...
It turns out jugglers want to see juggling, so they don't want to just see a pretty interesting artistic video.
Well, actually, to be honest, that first video, not that good. That's also the issue, is as a piece of movie making, it was like his first one in that way.
Yeah,
but it's not as good.
Everybody has to start somewhere. Yes, of course, and then he went on to what? Now he's directing
commercials or whatever.
But very impressive stuff.
Maybe.
I think.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you got to start somewhere, and he started with other projects.
That was the content,
So, anyway, I did name drop Vision Bot Manipulation Series and 9-to-1 Nordic Objects when I was talking about Elias. Last thing here. Also thinking, why just clubs? Why is it club juggling videos? Why is it not juggling videos? And this is very squishy.
Okay.
Why club juggling? Is it because
it's more of a 3D object than a ball?
And I think it is. And I think that is a huge part of it. I mean, I was going to get there, but yeah, let's just jump straight. No, let's just you clicked into it.
Yeah.
Club juggling is visually for videos the most dynamic object.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have enough, it has different symmetries. A ball is just a ball moving in space.
Yeah.
A ring is, if you film it from the side, you can see it. If you film it straight on, it's more difficult to see.
Yeah.
I think there are more interesting shapes you can make with rings. But clubs, there's just so much. Clubs are the most expressive juggling prop.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way that a hula hoop can be very expressive because you can hold onto it in so many different ways and turn it in so many different ways and move it around the body in so many different ways and throw it and catch it in so many different ways.
You become the 3D object with the hoop.
Yes, with the hoops. But also that's the same with clubs, is that the way they roll and move and trap and spin and flip
and
around your body and balance and all that kind of stuff becomes an interesting thing, that the vocabulary is way more extensive. And I was like, oh, could I do this same video with balls? And other people in the comments have said, now make the same video with balls. And other people have messaged me privately, or I replied to them and said, look, you find me 100 candidate ball juggling videos that could make a list, and I'll whittle it down to the top 20 or something. Well, I haven't actually said this like this outright.
But that's what it comes down to.
But what it comes down to is I can think of maybe 6 ball juggling videos which would be high quality enough to go with the 30 club juggling videos.
Yeah.
And
I understand.
I'm really pushed to get to 10 ball juggling videos, which I think are short films about juggling and ball juggling and the juggler doing the ball juggling.
Yeah.
Which aren't just, here's a trick compilation, that they actually have something else going on. Yeah. And I started looking back through some of them, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then I watch it and I'm like, no, that's just some tricks with some editing. And why is it that balls, not all of them, but a lot of them just devolve down to, that's just some tricks with some editing. Yeah. Whereas clubs, all these club videos are like, this is a short film about a juggler. And balls don't have that. And rings are kind of somewhere in the middle, but rings just aren't popular enough that people make a huge number of rings.
Yes.
You know?
And also I think there's like from the visual storytelling point of view, there's a limited amount of interesting visual things with...
No, there isn't a limited amount. I'm saying there has been a limited number of people who have explored balls to the same extent that people have explored clubs in videos where it's a short film about a juggler or a statement about juggling.
Yes.
Some people have done it, but it's not many.
Yeah.
And as we work down, let me say, the hierarchy of props. Like, I'm just throwing out. Yeah, Juliana doesn't like that. But as we work down the hierarchy and you get to Devil Stick, why is it that Tony Pezzo and I think it was Tony. Well, yeah, it was Tony and Wes and whoever. Was it just Tony and Wes? I can't remember. They made the Devil Stick DVD or the Devil Stick project. The Devil Stick video. Yeah, it's not. It's not just. It's not like, and that's it. You get down to it, sort of like, oh, and if I was to do, 20 years of Devil Stick videos,
that would be the video.
It would be one video. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with balls. It's just if there is a continuum of how expressive a prop is and how many people do it and what the audience is like. Yeah. And so if now you said make a 3.5 minute video to some nice piece of music, not like make a music video because that's a different job, but like make a video with one prop and it's going to last 3.5 minutes and it's going to tell a story and it's going to, it's going to be some good use of location, good use of character, good use of editing, interesting music and all that kind of stuff. Who wouldn't pick clubs? Like I would pick clubs.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't it be clubs? Because clubs are the most expressive prop. And I know that we're getting all the way past to 1 hour, 7 minutes of the podcast to drill down into why this project. And I think it was 20 years of club juggling videos or short films about club juggling. It's because club juggling is the most expressive and you can tell the most stories with club juggling. Yeah. Or it's easier to do so more people have. Let me put it that way. Yeah. To make a really, really good to make a really, really good video about cigar boxes has been done 3 times. Yeah. With clubs, I've got a playlist of like 70 videos that didn't make the cut. Now, not all of them were going to make the cut, but there was I had 30 videos in the end, or just over 30 videos. And there was another 10, which I was like, oh, I'm very sorry, but this isn't making, I feel really bad about it, but this just isn't quite right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
With ball juggling and ring juggling and cigar box and devil sticks and all these other props, I'm like, no, there isn't even... Like the video would have to be something different.
Yeah, I think also what comes in here is literally the statistical significance. Like if you have a bigger group of people, there will be more interesting stuff trickling down.
Well, no,
and the smaller the group,
yeah,
like if you have only 10 cigar box jugglers who are like really into it, like
but they also have to be into making movies.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them also have to be into making movies.
Yeah,
over the time, and now we're past the time. So the thing is, if I was going to do something with like ball juggling, it would. There are 20 or 15-minute videos I can make about that, but then those videos wouldn't be 20 years of club juggling videos, short films about club juggling.
No, of course not.
It would be 20 years of site swap progression, and then I would show over the years, here's how people like Ben Beaver was doing this in 2001.
It would be a different project.
Yeah.
And there would be a different focus because people focus on different things with balls.
Yeah, or you would say like the development of the Temoto, what is it? The close hand video. Like, people were doing this, and then Falco did some really quick juggling, and other people worked. You could do these dots, and Mike Moore did that. Like, you could do a video. You could do it. I could do an interesting deep dive video series.
It becomes more of a niche thing, maybe. Then, like you would go closer. You would zoom in closer into subcategories.
But that's the thing. I did zoom in closer to the subcategory of short film. Short 3 to 8 minute video about club juggling.
But there's a big output that you could choose from.
There was literally 20 years and 100 videos that I could watch to find out about that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Those videos still exist, and people uploaded them onto YouTube years later because they have like long-term value as a self-contained artwork, a project, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why 20 years later. Also, I miscalculated. I was like, December 2004 to January 2024. And I just had an off by one. No, that's like 19 years, not 20 years. But either way, look.
Close enough. You worked on this video in 2003. So
well, it was but I'm just saying like, the first time anyone except me saw it was in 2005 even, so it doesn't matter. But like the title was Manic 4 Club 2004. Either way, so what I'm saying is that like now to go back and to find the videos of like somebody doing some site swaps in 2007. That's going to be really rough, and the video quality is going to be rough because people who are making a video of their latest site swap, seeing Matt Tiffany and those guys in Leeds, and these jugglers who are now like, oh, what did they ever do? Oh, so they've all got real jobs now. They didn't become professional video makers, they didn't become professional jugglers, but they were really good at numbers juggling and site swap back in the day. And in the same way that I've talked about the top 40 juggler, if you're just good at some site swaps and pirouettes with balls, you can get yourself into the top 30. Every year there's a different set of you're good at site swaps and pirouettes and with balls, and that's just a form of juggler who can easily get to number 25 in the top 40 jugglers. There's been lots of them over the years, so maybe I could do a deep dive of all of the ball jugglers who did side swaps and pirouettes,
the one-hit wonders.
Some of them stick around for a few years, but generally they stick around for a few years, and you're like, Salvo from Italy, he's one of the new guys who does, but kind of long term you'll be going back and you'll be like, was that Salvo or was that Tamas Vardy from Israel? Like you won't know the difference. You won't be able to tell the difference because they're filling the same role as at an important role of being good at site swaps and numbers juggling with balls, which again, I was one of those jugglers very early on that people thought I was a very good numbers juggler. I wasn't, compared to Ben Beaver, who was around at the time, but in some cases I could just about match some people who were good at numbers juggling. In some cases I still can, but in vanishingly few cases now can I do something impressive with numbers.
And it is just very noticeable that there's a certain time in people's lives where that fits, where they have the time, you have no other responsibilities, you have the resources, and the resources mostly time and energy.
So I think I'll keep adding videos to my ball juggling video list, and I'll keep adding videos to my satisfying juggling list, and I'll keep adding videos to my good acts on stage list, and I'll keep adding videos to these playlists, like I did with this club juggling video playlist.
You keep doing it until there's a crystallization of this is what the video about this is going to be about.
What is actually I've had a list of satisfying juggling tricks.
Oh, for a long time. We talked about this for ages.
Satisfying juggling tricks, and I have lots of them there. But in the end, that is a a 90-second Instagram reel of just like, oh, that was satisfying. Oh, that was satisfying. There's nothing I can say about it.
Yeah.
Whereas giving like historical context to 20 years of club juggling videos, because
there's some interesting stuff to be said.
I'm in there. Like I'm not saying it starts with me, but like I've been around for these 20 years by the fact that like I'm in the first video, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And with the funny enough, with satisfying juggling videos, it becomes more of an ASMR compilation of
that's what I'm saying.
Just look at it and feel satisfied.
Yeah. Watch this. And now this. Ooh, yeah, and it's like, what am I adding here? Sort of like, here are tricks that Luke finds satisfying, and you're suddenly like, well, I'm not adding anything here.
Yeah.
There's no video essay in there anyway. And I don't
not yet. Maybe it still needs to grow.
But it's so easy to do top 10 lists. Like one of my most popular videos is like top 10 most difficult juggling world records. And I'm like, that's easy.
Yes, also it feeds into the algorithms.
Yes, but I don't care. Like I say, this has got 1,000 views, but like 30 of those views of people who I made the video for.
You really cared, yeah.
Like they really care. And I made them the video and they send me a message saying, thank you so much for making this video. Yeah. Again, a lot of them are people who are featured in the video, but they're the people who care the most about this stuff. Anyway, I think we've gone on plenty of time about this. An hour and 15 minutes. It's like our typical thing where Juliana starts yawning and Luke starts nodding off. No, but I feel it this morning. It's quite warm today. Yeah. So I need to open the windows. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much to all our Patreon supporters. I hope you enjoyed the videos that we put out last month, which was pretty much that video. Yeah. We'll do the
NJF vlogging?
We'll maybe make a video at the NJF. But again, I quite like going to some video like conventions and not doing all the vlogging.
That is true.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about doing a vlog at the NJF, but not following our normal formula of like, hey, we've arrived, here's some stuff in the gym, here's the games, here's the fight night, here's the food, we're not food vlogging, here's some footage from the show, here's the games, and then we'll see you next year. Like, how about doing a vlog where we're not allowed to do that stuff? Let's find what the story of the NJF is, which isn't Luke watches a show, Juliana films some of the games,
and fight night.
Well, I'll make a fight night video because if I'm there, we'll get the cameras out and we'll record the fight night. That can be its own video. Like I said, I don't mind it being its own video. Here's the fight night. But how about doing a project where I don't know, like I talk to more people, so it's not just me in front of the camera and you in front of the camera. Like we get some opinions about like what people are enjoying or what they've learned. I don't know. Just make a video which is like a 15-minute video about the convention, which isn't just here's some juggling in the gym. Now I'm going to fight night. Yes, I qualified well in fight night. Because I've done the video many times. Yes. Anyway, it's just an idea. I was going to talk to you about it while we're driving over there, but thought I'd mention it here. Get people excited to watch a video which is slightly different. Yeah. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any feedback? Do you want to get feedback from people?
I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care. Like right now, I want to say thanks for listening and wrap up. Okay. Like I do care. Yeah, send in your feedback. Send me a message on Instagram or Patreon or YouTube. Marshall, who was supporting us at the $25 a month level and wanted us to talk about the Olympics again, sent in another much better idea for an episode.
Good.
So next time we'll talk about that.
Awesome.
Which I'm not going to give it away because I'm going to expand it out a little bit, and I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about.
Great.
So thank you very much, Marshall, if you're still listening to this. Thanks for that second suggestion. We'll get to that in the next podcast. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Goodbye.